let's talk about series of the Women's Health Committee of the Malaysian Medical Association. My name is Dr. Sivabala Selvaratnam, Chair of the Women's Health Committee. I'm a practicing obstetrician and gynecologist at Hospital Raja Permaisuri Bainon in Ipoh. And uh, today we are celebrating International Women's Day, which is celebrated every year on the 8th of March, right? And the Women's Health Committee, to say a few words, is one of the youngest committees within the Malaysian Medical Association. This is our second term. Um, Thank you so much, Dr. Benjamin Chiam, for giving the thumbs up there. It means we are getting feedback that you're able to listen to us and you're engaging. Thank you. And that's one of the things we have noticed over the last two episodes as well. All participants that we've had are very receptive and reciprocate very nicely with those emojis. One of the things that I dislike personally about webinars is I cannot see my audience. And so I'm not sure whether they're listening or not. But the last two sessions we've had, the first one on heavy menstrual bleeding and the second one on subfertility, all participants stayed on, nudging us along with all their emojis. Yes, thank you again, Dr. Gan. And this is what they kept doing, nudging us along and staying on right till the end. So I think we're on the right path here, engaging with the participants, with what we do, uh, creating awareness through education, sharing of knowledge, and a bit more about Women's Health Committee before I hand over the floor to our moderator for tonight. So we are 2 years old, and this term, we've got two very, very dynamic women who are the foundation of the all activities that are going on. One is our moderator for tonight, Dr. Juliet Matthew, who is the chair of the Selangor branch of the MMA. It's a second term as chair, and tonight's episode is in collaboration with the Selangor branch. The other member of the Women's Health Committee is Dr. Vani, who is also the life wire, and she's from the Wilayah Persekutuan branch. So together with these two amazing women and Miss Mutu, who is from the secretariat, we try to bring about meaningful activities to cater to our members. So please use the chat box throughout the session. I'm sure there'll be questions to our distinguished panelists who have taken valuable time out to share their stories with all of us tonight. Please use the chat box to type in your questions, and I'm sure it'll be answered accordingly. And over to you, Dr. Juliet. Please also use the chat box to inform us what you would like to see in future episodes. And without further ado, the floor is yours, Dr. Juliet.
Thank you very much, Dr. Siva. I just want to make sure that I'm heard properly. Can somebody just give a notification? Can? Okay, great. So good evening, everyone, and welcome to this special forum on International Women's Day brought to you by the Malaysian Medical Association's Women Health Committee as well as MMA Selangor. So this year, the International Women's Day theme is Accelerate Action. And this calls us to go beyond reflection and take steps towards a very inclusive and empowered future for all women. And so today, we gather not only to honor the extraordinary contributions of women in medicine, but also to acknowledge the incredible resilience of those who have faced and triumphed over challenges, the challenge of cancer, and more. So we're not just going to interview survivors, we are going to have a conversation with trailblazers who are continuing to make strides in both their professional and personal lives. So the house rules, we have gone through that. Thanks, Dr. Sivabala. But before I introduce our panelists again, please submit your questions through the Q&A feature, if you have any, which will be addressed before the end of the session. We will try our best to answer all questions, but if we are not able to, then please bear with us. We encourage you to actively engage throughout the webinar using the chat feature. Any comments, feedback, or insights will actually empower us and overwhelm us with your active participation. And of course, one CPD point will be awarded to all participants who attend the full session. So we have with us today Prof. Chen Yusui, whom I fondly call as Prof. Su Chen at IMU University. We have many Prof. Su's in IMU actually. We have Prof. Suhaila coming up next. So a bit about Prof. Chen. She's a lecturer at the IMU University Kuala Lumpur, and she's been teaching physiology for more than 25 years. But she's also was the head of the Human Biology Division, consisting of all anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, and School of Medicine, and currently is the Dean of International Partnership at university level. Her areas of interest in research include natural products in treating arthritis and medical education. Hope I have not missed out anything on you, Prof. Okay, right. We have also with us, yes, Prof. Dr. Jamia, just a moment. Yeah. Senior Consultant Obstetrician and Gynecologist, a fetal-maternal specialist, and a senior medical educator at UITM. She won the FIGO Award in 2006, recognition of women obstetrician and gynecologists. And also, I believe, the Anugerah Toko University Malaya Medical Center last year. Right, Prof? Thank you for being with us here today. And later on, we will be having Prof. Dr. Sharifah Suhaila joining us. She is currently the Dean of School of Medicine, IMU University, a professor of Obs and Gynae at IMU University, and also a consultant at the Hospital Tunku Jaffa, Seremban. Looking forward to having a fantastic conversation with all these amazing women here today. So, ladies and gentlemen, we come together, and as we hear from these amazing women, let us celebrate their strengths, resilience, their invaluable impact they will continue to have on the world around them. And let's strive to build resilience as we learn from them and serve our patients, our colleagues, our community, and the world. So, ladies and gentlemen, did I say ladies and gentlemen just now? I believe I did. So I would like to also extend a heartfelt welcome to all the men present here today. When I joined MMA many years ago, I attended a webinar on women empowerment as a young doctor. I mean, I'm still a very young doctor. But I was fortunate enough to hear our guest speaker, Tan Sri Rafida Aziz, then say that women empowerment is not about men bashing. I myself was fortunate to grow with a father who believed wholeheartedly that his 3 daughters should strive and rule the world one day, or at least Malaysia. So he taught us that there should be no excuses, only the drive to achieve what we set our minds to. So today we also honor and appreciate the men who stand behind us, who respect, support, and work alongside us to create a more conducive, inclusive, and empowering environment. Gentlemen, all of you out there, your partnership it is very essential in driving change, and we are grateful for your role in helping us thrive. Thank you for that. So, I'm going to dive in and start the forum now. I'm going to ask the 2 lovely ladies here today, first the Prof. Su Chen, then Prof. Jamia. Can you share a very defining moment in your career thus far in the medical field with all our audience today?
I have the Give me some time to think, what is defining a defining moment, right? And to me, I mean, I started as science students, and I studied abroad, and but in my PhD, I actually choose to study about labor, right? And because of my interest, and then the thing is that my curiosity, why women gave birth at 10 months, nothing shorter or nothing longer. So I think my defining moment in my career is driven by the curiosity, the inquisitiveness, right, that I have about science. And that's why they push me to pursue a PhD, and later on in research, and also in teaching and learning, and because I want to learn more. So I think this is why have driven me so far. So there's no any particular moment, okay? But I would say it is a continuous process and a journey that has kind of driven me till what I am today. Yeah.
Thank you, Prof. Over to you, Prof. Jamia.
Thank you very much, Juliet, for a kind invitation to attend this webinar. Assalamualaikum and good evening, everyone who is attending this webinar. Thank you very much for coming in and dialing in. I have a few defining moments. So if I start from the very start, the reason why I do medicine, that's because of my grandfather. So I come from a very family of 4 girls. My father is an army officer, and my grandfather is a headmaster in a small school in Melaka, Pinda, So he told me that I would become a doctor. So at the age of 6, I was thinking, yeah, maybe I would become a doctor. So from a young age, so I was interested in series on TV, which are black and white, or medical series. So it hasn't sort of gone away. So when I had my SBM at Form 5, so I was in the group. I was supposed to go to Cairo for medicine, to pursue medicine. But we were the last group to go. And there was a war just 2 weeks before we leave Malaysia. And the JPA decided not to send all of us and to sort of stay back in Malaysia, or we change programs. So I didn't want to change my program. So 5 of us didn't want to change, so we had to stay in Malaysia. I decided to join in the Form 6, but I had to leave lower 6. Then I got to go upper 6 straight away because we missed the whole lower 6. So I did Form 6 in sort of 9 months because I was so determined to get into medicine. I didn't want to change and go somewhere else. So I got into medicine. When I was in year 3, delivery fascinates me. Whenever I see the babies coming out screaming from inside the womb, they don't say anything. They swim inside the amniotic fluid. The moment they come out, they scream and breathe. It's so fascinating that I want to do an ONG right from year 3. So it built like that. So I did ONG in my master's, and when it comes to my subspecialty, I honestly wanted to do reproductive medicine initially. But because it's another colleague who wanted to do that, and I always look to Professor Rahman, who's a fetal maternal specialist, who's self-trained and such a smart person, So I thought, no, I need to be like him, and I need to know whether what he do is correct or not, whether what he says in the ultrasound, which you cannot even define at that point. He says that's the kidney, and that's the kidney. So you think, yeah, maybe that's the kidney, but you do not know whether that's really the kidney or not. So I was just thinking that, oh yeah, maybe I should do fetal maternal instead rather than reproductive medicine, just to sort of see whether what he says. He was one of my strongest negative motivator. In a way, who I am today. This is how I was in fetal medicine. But I was also involved in medical education. So usually self-trained because I'm interested in teaching clinical service at the same time, do a bit of research in university. So during the COVID, so it was, you do nothing. So I was visiting the university or ITM after my retirement. So I was thinking maybe I should go back and study formally. So I studied medical education in a master's program from Warwick University. Had to go back to class, had to extend an exam, had to write a module exam, 7 module, I had to pass, and I cannot afford to fail one. So there's so many things that I've done, and the defining moment is, but the thing is, throughout all this, I enjoy what I'm doing, teaching clinical work, meeting younger people, young doctors, and exchanging ideas with them. So that sort of kept me going. So that's, in a nutshell, the few defining moments in my life.
Thank you, Prof. Very nice to hear that. But that brings me to my next question to the both of you. And of course, we invite Prof. Sharifah. She has joined us now. And I've given the due introduction, Prof. Welcome to the International Women's Day Forum. And so my next question would be, as a woman of medicine, and you did mention something about negative influence, Prof. Jamia, and then I will extend the same question to the rest. What are the challenges that you faced most in your career thus far?
I think when we embark in any journey or any experiences, so when we get comments, it can be positive comments, it can be negative comments, but both comments must be taken into account. You've got to reflect on those. If positive comments means that you've done something good, but you can do better. But if it's a negative comment, you can still improve on the negative comments. In fact, a negative comment is the most important to improve if you take it objectively. So you can't be sort of defensive of that comment. So you have to look at that comment. Is it appropriate or not? So did you do what you was said? Or what should I do now? So I find that negative comment is a very strong motivator to change. I had a few, throughout my career, negative environment, which I turn into a positive things. So it sort of doesn't stress me out in a way, because I don't take it in the negative way, but turn into a positive way, and at the same time becoming better because of the negative comment. So I appreciate those negative comments that were given. Or sometimes you find that you're in a situation where there is negativity around you, but you don't have to follow it. So you can always change it. I always believe that the person to change is not that person who gives you the negative comment. It's you. You don't like your bosses. So unless your bosses change work, retire, resign, or dies, you can't do anything about it. But you can change yourself. And that's very important.
Well said, Prof. Jamia. I see a lot of self-regulation there with the thoughts that bounce to us, especially the negative feedbacks, right? And regulating to come out of it confidently. Prof. Chen, let's hear from you about that.
Yeah, I mean, there will be challenges in our lives, and especially, when you are pursuing a career. And of course, I started my career as a service provider. I was working in Kanan Kerbau Hospital in Singapore as an embryologist. And that time, it was really challenging because I was young, and of course, I'm still young, but I was younger then. And then wanting to start a family, yeah, and have to juggle with a very challenging work, yeah, because working in a fertility clinic is not really pleasant. I find that in working with the ONG is probably better, because that is the happiest department in the hospital. But in the fertility clinic, you with very heavy, like heavy burden on their shoulder, and you wanted to help them. So I mean, for me, I felt very much for these women who wanted to be mothers, and they have their challenges. And of course, I myself have challenges, because I too wanted to be a mother, but my career just started. Yeah. So for me, it's a juggling of my responsibility, wanting to start a family, and also try to to pursue a career. And I remember that time my boss, who is an obstetrician, and he wanted to send me to Australia. I just came back from Australia, in fact, that time, and wanted to send me back to Australia again for further training. And I was really reluctant. So that was for me, there is a big challenge, because that time I was asking myself, what is more important to myself? Yeah, pursuing a career, and whether this is a career that I want, or starting a family while no, I'm not too old to have a family. So that was the challenge and the struggle that I have. I think, for a person who just want, at the age of a childbearing age, and also wanting to starting a career of my own. So yeah, I mean, that time it was difficult, even more difficult, because I was in a foreign country. Singapore is not my home country, and we don't know anybody there, so we don't really have great support group there. So really struggle a lot. So I felt that for us young women at the time, having to make all these decisions, early in our career and wanting to start a family, I think the thing is that it is we need to have the kind of resilience to go through all these challenges, especially in these life decision making moments. And having a mentor is really, really important at the time, which unfortunately I didn't have. So I really struggle. During that I really, really struggle. Yeah.
I hear you, Prof. Chen. I think most of us at that time were wondering career, family, and then we're not super women, with capes flying around like Wonder Woman and all that. We are, first daughters or wives, and then we are mothers as well while we juggle the careers. And that's why it's amazing to have you folks here to inspire all the young junior doctors who are facing all these challenges now. So let's hear from Prof. Sharifah now.
Hi Juliet. Hi everybody. Hi Prof. Jamie. Long time no see. I see Su Chen every day almost. Now and you. um first and foremost, apology for attending the talk late. I kind of had a little bit of too much of berbuka puasa. Okay. What was the question again? The biggest challenge?
Yes.
Well, I think probably most of the challenges have already been mentioned by Prof. Jamie and Prof. Chen, but maybe for me, it's probably the biggest challenge is perhaps time. I think the struggle with most of us, especially when we have started to age, as well as when we have started to get into more getting more tasks, or getting new opportunities. Sometimes you feel time is against you, because feel that time is shorter every minute, and especially every day. So I think if we are talking about work, being a woman, wanting to, like Prof. Su Chen said, being a mother, and also to also take up a position, for example, as doesn't matter whether a doctor or a head of something, a department. The time that you have to race with is probably the biggest challenge, because you gotta get up early in the morning, and then that's probably earlier than anybody else, and then you got to race with whatever that you need to deliver within certain timeline. And it could be not you preparing the or having to finish the work, but making sure that you motivate, you inspire people to make sure that things are done. I think that that's probably the most challenging thing for me. Other than what Prof. Jamie and Prof. Suchan has mentioned. But I feel the way to overcome this would be not to feel that you have to race, not to feel that you have to be like anyone, but just take it one step at a time. And after 5 decades in life, still young for Jamie.
We're all very young here. Yeah.
I learned that's it. You don't have to race with anyone. You don't have to compete. You just have to take one step at a time. Be it doesn't matter what it is. So that's probably how I would say the way I overcome that challenge.
Thanks, Prof. Very well said. And it's just in time for a question from one of our viewers here, Dr. Gunn. I think how difficult it is to be a doctor, a housewife, a mother, and a homemaker. Can I add to that list as a daughter, as a wife? Right. Let's hear from any one of you. Yeah.
Listen to our distinguished Prof. Jamie first. Prof. Jamie, come on. They want to hear from you.
Well, I wouldn't want to say it's difficult, but I want to put it's challenging. So, but the thing is, yes, there's so many things that we need to do, but time management is also important. But the thing is, to avoid stress in all the situation, you become a doctor, you're faced with patients, you're faced with with your own colleague, students, your bosses. So there is stress out there. But you're also at home, you may also face stress. So you're going to take care of your family, your husband. Maybe you need to cook or you need to do something. And you're also probably bosses in some way, you're head of something, or you're head of your unit, or maybe you head of a program. And you need to do research, you need to mix with people. There's so many things you want to do. So the first thing that I think that I usually do is I must be at peace with myself. So that's very important because the stress is very bad for any one of us and everything that's stress. So the first thing we should do is we should love our job first. Whatever you do, you must love it. You cannot say I do it because I'm forced to do it because this is the only thing I've been doing before. But you have to love your job. If you don't, then it becomes a stressor. And the other thing is, if let's say if somebody asks you for help, or maybe so highlights the dean asks you to do something, and you grudgingly accept it because you don't want to say that you cannot do it because something. So if you agree to do something, whatever it is, no matter how small or big it is, you must not feel stressed about it because you are the one who agreed. So when you agree to do something for your friends, for your bosses, one thing I learned is I will not expect a thank you. If they don't say thank you, I will not be stressed about it. In the first place, I was the one who agreed to help. And in my principle is to try and keep me balanced. It's not easy. I have 6 things that I must keep all the time. One is me time. Second is family that include my husband, my children, my mother, my father, my aunties. And third is my colleague, my bosses, my subordinates, the one under me, or anybody in the work environment, my friends. So friends, close friends, colleague, or maybe some friends who just newly made, mental, come emotional, and religious. All this must be at peace. But the first thing that must be at peace is me. If I'm not at peace at myself, I will not at peace as anything like the other 5 domains. So that's very important because how to combat stress is important. Not everybody has the same way of combating stress. Sometimes we always forget that we need to take care of ourselves first. But it doesn't mean that you need to run away to go on holiday for a long time. No, you need to have some time. So if you want to go for a manicure, go. Block it and go. If your friend asks you let's go for tea. No, I say, I have a manicure appointment or hair appointment. Oh, come on, let's go for tea. No, I need to go for this. So if you cancel your manicure, that means you are now not doing the me things. You're doing your friends thing. So these are the things that keeps you, sometimes I still cook for my family, and because I love cooking. But if I cook, so if I cook and then it's messy, I need to clean. But because I want to do it, so I will not be stressed. I will not be screaming at everyone to help me. If they help, that's fine. If they don't want to help, they're doing something else, so I'll do it myself. So I guess it's how we manage ourselves. First thing, you have to love whatever you do. You don't, then you'll be a lot of stress. And
So
stress
what
is bad for everyone.
yeah. What I'm also hearing is that it's all right to say no when you don't want
Yes,
to.
of course. It's all right. You have to learn how to say no. But if you don't say no, you agree to help, small or big. You have to do it. You cannot say that I say yes because of what? Because you're afraid of your bosses. So if you think you cannot, or you need some help, just say no. Or you say I can help, but I need some guidance. But you have to be assertive, not to the point of obnoxious. Assertive means just to stand your point, but to say what you think is right. So I feel that people shouldn't be afraid. They should be assertive. But at the end of the day, we're working together. So if you really feel stressed, you want to scold somebody, okay, just take a break, take a deep breath, and get out and have coffee somewhere else, and come back feeling fresh, maybe better. Though don't say something you'll regret.
Take that pause. I hear you, Prof. Jamia. And I also hear what you say, assertive, not aggressive, right?
Yes.
Prof. Chen, let's hear from you.
Yeah, I agree. Where is how difficult? I don't take things difficult, but I take them as challenges. Yeah, because when you look at it, as challenges, your mindset about things is actually different. Yeah, and if it's difficult, then you become a bit negative, and you tend to complain. Yeah, so I don't want to see things as difficult, but want to see them challenges. I know that I can do something about it. Yeah, it is challenging to play multiple roles at one time, but I think women's actually are gifts of God given to mankind. We have to sometimes we believe actually we can do a lot of things and do it better, and 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 therefore we can be so many things or so many playing so many roles at one time and doing quite well. And I think because especially when we have the right mindset, and we will be a happier person. And when we are happy, I think you will have the kind of inner strength to do things and to overcome challenges and problems. So actually a lot of this kind of, I think, strength, comes from within. And it's all here. It's all here. Yeah, and I believe very much, because that's why when I mentor my students or my younger or junior staff, I told them, it's your heart and your mind, okay, that make it possible. All right. So when you have the right mind and the right heart or right attitude towards things, even though it could be challenges, but I see challenges as opportunities as well, to improve myself, to make me even better person, a stronger person. So I actually happier, okay, because I see at such a light, in such light, and therefore, I say myself, I'm a happier person. But of course, I won't make it so flowery. I also have to admit there will be times that I can get very grouty, and I can get very angry. There will be emotions. This kind of negative emotion, they were seeping in certain times. Because we all human. But one thing is that we also so far we are able to do reflection. So for me, to do daily reflection is very important. Yeah. So that's what Prof. Jamia saying, the me time. For my me time is a reflection time. So I need the time end of the day to do some reflection. So it can be in the morning, it could be in time, but I just need the time. Because when I don't do it, I feel that, sometimes I lost track of what I'm trying to do or what I'm trying to achieve. And things becoming a bit blurry, and the goal and the targets become not certain. Yeah. And also lost the purpose of what I'm doing. So if I want to be a mother, I must have a purpose, why I want to be a mother. And I'm happy about it. And want to be a doctor. It must be a purpose that, why I want to be a doctor. So I need the kind of time, for me to reflect, to keep reminding myself why I'm here, why I'm playing all these roles. And sometimes I look at the experiences that I had, and I see how can I improve myself, how can I be a better mother, how can I be a better employee, how can I be a better boss. So these are the things I find it. I keep learning as I go every day. So and there are some humble moments, because where I do my reflections, I realize, hey, this is something I shouldn't have done, but I have done it. I learned from my mistakes. So that's why I find that the me time, the reflection time, is very, very important for me. And that helps me to face all those challenges ahead. Yeah.
Thank you, Prof. What I'm taking away from this and what the commonality I'm seeing here is that time and self-regulation. But I'm going to pick on what Prof. Chen said, and I think most of us do that. It's that perfectionism personality all women have. We have to do it correctly and perfectly and do everything. And so I hope the junior doctors here today are hearing this. We have 3 amazing women to tell us how they're doing this. And we don't always have to be perfect. Am I right, ladies? Right. And
Yeah,
time
true.
management, yes.
You can do crazy things. I've done crazy things in my life.
Same here.
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes I feel like, I've been to, suddenly I have these just crazy things just to go to do shopping. I've done a day shopping in Jakarta and back in one day. So I go in a morning flight, and then I go straight to the shopping mall. Then I come back on the last flight. So my friend said, "Are you crazy?" I said, "Yeah, not really crazy, but no, that's fun. Let's go." So she said, "Oh, okay, let's go." So so such things like that. But you also need good support system. So your family, your husband, your sisters, your parents, and also your friends, to sort of keep you balanced and your feet on the ground. So I also had some terrifying things in my life. So I was near death a few times. So I became sort of very aware about how precious life is. So I had been a snatch thief. I was found unconscious by the roadside. Somebody carried me to the clinic, and I was involved in accident with my father, and I had facial injuries on on the whole of my face. I had more than 30 sutures on my face with all my eyes dangling. So, those moments keep me sort of grounded. So I never take things for granted. I always don't. So I always believe that everything is important. Everyone, and time is of essence. You may not be able to do that tomorrow. You do not know what's going to happen the next hour. So live your life to the fullest, do the best as you can, and stay grounded and try to reduce stress and be happy in whatever you're doing, even though it's crazy.
Thanks, Prof. That's very nice to hear. Actually, you brought me on to the next question that I wanted to ask you, amazing ladies. And that is, each of you have shown incredible strength in your life, battling with major adversities, right? And I would like to know if you would share that with us, how it was when you first received I would put it here as the bad news or the disastrous news, and how it has shaped you to who you have become today. Yes, I'll let anyone
Teresa
of
has
you
been
start.
very quiet, so she should answer the question.
Maybe I can start. Um, well, I maybe to some it's considered adversity, but to me, I consider it as just one of the life tests, just like what Prof. Jamia has just mentioned earlier. But we all go through tests, but each one have different tests. And hey, at the end you can see that we are still here, and we are still perfect. So of course, we are all human beings. So when you first hear a bad news, the normal reaction of a human being is to try to understand what is happening. It's not like you would ever think that it happens to you, even though you know it can. Um, but I think maybe for me, the first night when I heard the news and before I even go for surgery, in my mind was, how is my family going to go through this? I wasn't thinking of, at that particular time, I wasn't thinking of how I'm going to go through it, because I knew. I think the advantage is because being doctors, we know how it's probably gonna pass, or if even if it doesn't pass, but you know there are ways that you can actually manage it. But I was wondering at that time, because my daughter was 9 at the time. Sorry, she 8. She was 8 at the time, the youngest one. I was wondering how is she gonna cope with it. And of course, my other 3 children, they are all adults, so they are fine. Well, maybe not fine, but I'm thinking they can look after themselves, and this little one. So it's that probably the first thing that went through my head. But then again, as what we were just saying earlier, and what Prof. Jamie has just rightfully and beautifully said, all these tests is gonna make you appreciate every single time, or every single second of what you have in life. Doesn't matter whether it's actually just sipping coffee, it's all by yourself. Sorry, probably my coffee bean cup here.
I have Milo here, from Bangkok.
And I have tea actually. So we had all different beverages.
But it's about enjoying every moment, or every single every single thing that you have, and every person that you're connecting with, and of course, it sounds simple, sounds as if like it's easy breezy. Of course it's not, right? But what I'm trying to say here is, for any test, you will have the peak of where it's the hardest that you have to go through, but believe me, it will actually get better, and things just, if you keep positive minds, there's nothing impossible. And I think that's probably what for me, I can say what helps me or makes me continue doing what I'm doing. And I believe that is super important, because like I said, I have my daughter, and my daughter is young, and I want her to see me as somebody who knows that she can actually, what strength means, because a young kid will not understand unless they visualize, right? So that's how it is. Yeah. Maybe I have time for others.
I can't imagine going through and understanding that, but amazing, amazing resilience is what I'm hearing. Thanks, Prof. Sharifah, for sharing that with us. Let's hear from the other 2 ladies.
All right, I had the major illness during the COVID time, so it made the whole experience double strange, because it's COVID, and going to hospital, you have to go through all these tests, COVID tests almost every day, because I need to have to check up, and visit hospitals. And it was really a strange time, and it was difficult because the human contact was a lot less then. Yeah. So, and me having major illness, all I wanted time, of course, I agree with Prof. Su. When I heard the bad news, it was like, should I tell my parents? No, I was very worried for them because they were old, and I don't know how they would have taken the bad news. So I had a lot of decision making in my mind. Who should I tell, and who should I not tell? Right. And of course, I think I was very happy. I was very glad that my husband was with me at that time, and he was one of the major support for me, and therefore I think because it's a COVID, I think that's why it's so strange. Yeah. All my colleagues can do is, of course, calling. They're very good, but there's no physical contact. Yeah. And I think sometimes you just want to have a shoulder to lean on, and find comfort. But during COVID, it's really difficult to have that kind of comfort that you're really seeking. And even when I was lying in the hospital after surgery, I didn't have any visitors. Again, the longing, and that's why I find it very tough time. And then now thinking back, what have kept me going is, again, as I said, the inner strength that I relying on is your attitude and your own mindset, and also very much of your faith, religion, okay, your faith. And I say that during that time, because of lack of this human contact, I actually rely a lot on this faith that I have. Yeah, the inner, and I pray a lot, and it's where I did a lot of my reflection as well. And that's where I draw strength from, and the positive mindset, that come from this faith, that keep me going, and let me see there's hope, and also help me to be appreciative of what I have. Even though I have very little physical contact and support then, but whatever little that is there, I really appreciated. And I appreciated the nurses that came to attend to me. And actually, IMU students and the doctors, actually, also IMU doctors. So I said, it's amazing, and during that time when I don't know anybody, God sent me all these contacts to me to help me to go through those difficult times, and that made me feel comforted, very comforted. And that's why I say, if you are being appreciative, things, you tend to be a happier person. And from happiness, you can draw your strength from as well. And therefore, you can go through all these difficult moments. So that's why, whether it's a major illness or challenges at work or in a family, I think a lot of time for myself, I find that, is the attitude, the mindset. I had to call it right, I had to get it right. If you get it right, you actually can't face a lot of trials and tribulations and still being happy. Yeah.
Thank you, Prof. I hear a very important word here in all adversities, the importance of connection, right? Yeah. Thanks, Prof. And to you, Prof. Jamian.
Well, I can write a storybook on my medical life if you like, So when I was in my first pregnancy, I had gram-negative septicemia from E. coli. I almost died from that. And at that point, at that time, the mortality from E. coli sepsis is high, 50%. So I was like, well, being a houseman after delivery, nobody believes you when you say that you're having urinary tract infection. They say you're having anything other than that. So they delay all this antibiotics and so on. So I had sepsis after my first delivery. And I already had multiple surgeries after that. Now I also had a failed epidural for more than 1.5 hours on the OT table. And I had chemotherapy in 2003, and I was president of the OGSM at that point. And I wanted to still do my presidency, so I came to all meetings. Well, initially, I was thinking, well, I don't mind being bored and coming to meetings. I, in fact, was very comfortable with that. So I went to Figo in Chile at that time as president of OGSM after that. So I learned to appreciate life as it is, and I want to be a better person every day. So I strive to do that. And I leave all these negative people around me far, far away. And I don't dance with them in the sense that they will not affect me in any way. So, but then I don't make an enemy with them at the same time, because I think making enemies are not good, because for all you know, somewhere along the line, you may need that person's help. So I just leave them as it is. Well, I had so many sort of near-death situation, and makes me a better person, I think. So I always reflect on that. But I also do other things at the same time, not just thinking about that. So I must do well in other things. So I strive. So I was a deputy director running the hospital for 3 years. So I run the labor room for more than 10 years in labor room. A consultant there, from senior lecturer and consultant every day. You know, that running labor room, like what but Suyan said just now, obstetric is happy place. Well, it's very risky. You know, it is happy, but it's also risky. And at the same time, you must be on your toes at the same time. You know, I cooked nasi lemak in my labor room at that time. Well, at that time there was no MSQH, you know, so I can cook in labor room. So the pantry I cook because I love to cook. So I cook nasi lemak or laksa. So from the houseman, everyone during during our break time, we will eat together. But I also work them very hard. You know, if you ask them, they tell you that I work them very hard. But I also feed them a lot. So recently I was in UIA doing accreditation for one of the postgraduate program. So they were introducing themselves. So one of this is one of these senior professor. So his statement was, he says, "Do you know, I was your student in 1999. I said, "Oh," he was a Dato. He's a Dato. All my students are either Dato, Tan Sri, Puan Sri. I'm still here in university at the same position, you know, but I still enjoy my life. So he said, "I remember your nasi lemak in the labor room in 1999. Then, oh, that's correct. You must be under me because I will sure be the one cooking the nasi lemak and not anybody else." So those kind of things sort of makes it happy place maybe, but at the same time, it's also learning and taking care of the woman, making sure that they deserve the care they deserve, and creating an environment at work that is not so stressful in a stressful environment, you know, so that kind of stuff. So I enjoyed doing that, I must say. All these years, I've never stopped until now. So I still enjoy doing whatever I do, however small or big it is. So I can be up and down the plane 6 times in a week. Last 2 weeks, I was up and down the plane because of some commitment. Yeah, but okay, if I have to get up earlier, get up early. If to sleep late, I sleep late. If I have to do a lecture at 2 o'clock in the morning, I do a lecture. But I won't scream at anybody else. So,
Yeah.
in a nutshell, that's how it is.
Thanks,
Enjoy your
Prof.
life.
You have just actually reignited the fact that earlier you said you have to enjoy your job. So Prof. Sharifah and Prof. Chen, we're going to get all the cucumbers, kacang, and ikan bilis to work tomorrow and start cooking to make it more happier in IMU University, right? Um, Thank you again for all this. And for the listeners coming in who are already with us the last 1 hour, we will be coming to an end soon. But if you do have any questions for these amazing ladies, please put it up. We can't go past this without checking on our male counterparts. And earlier, Prof. Sharifah, we generously thank the men who are here today for supporting us in our endeavors, right? But I have to ask this question. Has there ever been, or have you ever faced gender bias barriers in your career all this while? And I open that to all of you.
Maybe if I can start, I don't know. I feel like this Prof. Jamie is my mentor from far, even if she doesn't know it. I find if you are to enjoy work and if you are to move forward in anything that you do, you shouldn't even feeling that there's actually any biasness or any obstacles that is stopping you. To me, when we thought about gender bias, it's actually all in your head. I remembered when I first came back to Malaysia, because I worked in Scotland and you know how the culture is different, and I came back to Malaysia and I find it funny when people talk about how, you know, women, I mean, this is in one of the hospitals, quite busy hospitals in the East Coast, how women felt the female doctors felt as if like the men are were always trying to, you know, get on top of everything. But I felt comfortable just being or around or talking to just anyone. And soon I realized it's not the biasness is not because of how other people are looking at us, but it's how we feel, our own perception. And if you can actually be comfortable in your own skin, doesn't matter whether you are working with a man or another woman, it's another human being. That's how I feel. And that has been my take for the last 30 years. And I'm honestly, Juliet, super lucky because I've always encountered and working with people like Prof. Jamie, who always showed me there's, you know, you should actually be very comfortable with yourself. Maybe that is, if you want to call it self-confident, be it, but at the same time humble, not arrogant. And the way you approach everybody should actually be the same. It should not be because he's a man, therefore I'm going to approach a person differently. Because I think what you give is what you get. So if you feel there's gender biasness, it's because you may actually have that biasness against someone else. So I don't know. I maybe it's just me. Maybe, yeah, I understand. There are situations out there, perhaps. Of course, certain challenges or certain works may require men because of their physical strength or something else that they have which we don't, right? Or other work may require more than women because of the special things or uniqueness that we bring. But then again, we all should complement each other, right? In order for us to understand and make things better lah. Especially when it comes to a project. I don't believe a project has to be, you know, gender specific, or I don't believe you know, something that you want to move forward with. It's like driving a bus. I don't think it has to be gender specific lah. The bus must have men and women because macam Prof. Jamie cakap just now, you may want to have fun time. Somebody can cook good nasi lemak, but you never know. A man can also cook good nasi lemak like my husband lah. I don't. I eat. I eat pandai. It's like that, right? So I truly believe it's all up to how you see it or how you perceive. If you perceive no biasness, there'll be no biasness. Because like I said again, what you give is what you get.
Great, Prof. Well said.
Right.
I think the men are going to like us better at IMU University once we start our nasi lemak trend. Thanks to Prof. JB and Prof. Su. Ken.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's this one moment that I felt, there's a gender biases. Is when my boss asked me, "Hey, you need to put your work before your family." And I don't think they will ask this kind of questions to our male colleagues. Yeah. But they will ask me, and I was wondering why they asked me, a woman, and to put my work before my family. I love my family, and I think there's no shame of loving your family. And I also love my work. Yeah. So when I was being told, I was actually a bit upset lah, a bit upset. But I feel that that this is my life. I get to decide what I put first, and and that's my decision, and no one is going to tell me how to live my life. Yeah. So I will only be I only be good, when I'm happy doing something I believe in. So I really believe, if I believe that I need to put my family first, I will put my family first. So if my boss say, but I still do my work. It's not that I'm not like being lazy or anything, I still do my work. But of course, I would still have to be assertive and be mindful of the need of my own family, right? So but that is my decision. That is my decision, and therefore, I believe that I can manage my work, and I can love my family all at the same time. Yeah.
Thanks, Prof. Chen. And Prof. Jamie, over to you.
I haven't faced any gender bias in my own, but I know it does happen at times. I've seen it sometimes. So I think what we need to do is we need to empower women to speak out. So that's one of the things that we should do. Empower women that they need to speak out if that happens. And then it's to state what is in their mind, so not to be afraid. There's also just that also there's a question here about how to create a safer, supportive environment. So I think one of the things we need to do is to encourage women to take charge of their life one and to be able to speak out when there's a problem. But I think as women, we need to support one another. One of the things is respect, and we need to respect one another. So we, as a senior person like me, I still need to build in a safe environment where to say to my younger colleagues is, it's all right if they do mistake. I do mistakes too. So we can talk about it and see how best we can handle it. So they're not afraid to speak out. So we need to support at the same time and create a safe environment where they can speak out their mind and not be afraid to say, even if it is a negative comments. So they need to know that it's okay for them to say it. So we as senior people must encourage that to build a safer environment for them, and also to sort of support our colleague at the same time. And I think that's very important. So the other thing is this whole this Tasha is saying in the core qualities should cultivate to foster a space where women patients feel taken seriously and validated. This is again allowing them a space to say what they want to say, to not feel afraid to say it. So that's very important. So creating that safe environment and supporting one another and respecting, even though patients, you have to listen to patients. They may have concern, so you got to listen to them first and then evaluate whether you think that concern is valid for you to address or whether or not you need to do something about that.
Thank you, Prof. And it brings us back to what we discussed earlier about being assertive, in contrast to being aggressive. And the take-home message here that I'm hearing from you very clearly is do not be afraid to stand
Yes.
up, right?
Do not be afraid. Yes.
Thank you, Prof. And thank you to everyone who's still with us. We are coming to a close now, but I can't let these amazing ladies go without telling us your take-home message for all the doctors, especially the junior doctors who are striving really hard nowadays. I'm sure you've heard of that in the system with colleagues, with seniors, not necessarily the male counterparts, but having going through a hard time in the system. Your advice to them.
Well, let me go first because I'm the senior most here, probably, and maybe it's lots more experience, maybe. But I should tell the junior doctors, yes, stress is everywhere, even though we seniors face with stress. The thing is, you must always remember when you are in a stressful environment, the person needs to change is you, ourselves. We need to find ways to address the stress because we don't find ways to address the stress, we are the one who get the impact of the stress and getting burned out. So you got to find ways to address the stress. See how you can change around that system and make it better. So there's always hope somewhere. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. There's always a problem somewhere, but it doesn't mean that it's stopping you from doing whatever you're doing and achieving what greater heights you would achieve. So resilience, flexibility is important, and taking care of your mental health, physical health, spiritual health is also important. Never forget the equation. You are the most important person. And you are the one that can change, and you are the one that can control that situation.
Well said, Prof. Let's hear it from the other two amazing ladies here.
Yeah, probably what I can say is here, is that we have to believe in ourselves. Yeah. And we are worthy. Yeah, we are worthy, and we are valuable. And and besides that, I think it's always good to practice mindfulness. And there's a way of taking care of yourself. I told my junior staff and even my medical students, in order for you to take care of others, you need to take care of yourself first. Yeah. So the self-care, love yourself is very important. And with that, then you are able, if you are able to love yourself, to take care of yourself, then you will be able to take care of others and to tackle problems as well.
Thanks, Prof. So we're hearing happiness at your work, self-care, and stand astride to those resilience. I mean, to the obstacles that come. Prof. Sharifah.
Maybe I just like to share with everyone what my parents once told me. See yourself as somebody who is here for purpose, for purposes, for a purpose or for purposes. Never see yourself as somebody who is here to be, requiring or be a burden to someone or to a support system or whatever, right? I feel that from that, it means we are all born leaders. We are all born leaders from even the beginning. And the reason why I don't believe in this gender biasness, I always feel that if you can take away the word gender there, right, and believe in yourself that we are born leaders, everything that is given to you is an opportunity for you to show how you can drive your purpose. Doesn't matter whether it's a small purpose or a large purpose, be it starting as a house officer. If you feel that just being a house officer is just a job, right? Then something that is an opportunity for you to give back, you will treat it as a job. I used to once think, because I wanted to quit medicine, the moment I, Prof. Jamie, for your information, I was so stressed out because it was culture shock for me when I returned. I wanted to quit medicine. But this is what my parents told me. And then, like what Prof. Suchen was saying earlier about reflection and whatnot, and I realized even in any hardship, in any it's not to say that I agree, Prof. Jamie. Yes, there are situations, or there have been situations where women are being or taken as you know, less able, especially in certain or major tasks. I have to admit that, but at the same time I must also encourage all of you here to feel that if that is what we believe, and that's how it's going to be. So if we feel strongly that we are as able as anyone who can do any work or any job or any of what do you call it, anything that is thrown to you, I bet you all are gonna love your work, you're gonna love your life, you're gonna be happy, and you will not feel stressed, and there will be no question of burnout. But it's not easy. It requires decades of life for us to understand that. It's not easy.
Well,
It doesn't happen in a day or in a year. Trust me, it takes time, but it will happen. So
thank
don't
you.
give up. Don't give up. Keep striving.
Thank you. You put in that little touch of humanity and humbleness here, saying that you wanted to quit at one point of time as well. And,
Many times.
and I think most of us, especially the junior doctors here, you wanted to hear that, right? So, and I put it up in the chat, the tree that bends low enough to adjust will not break.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Thank you very much. Now, before I end this, I would like to see if there's any messages from our chairman, Dr. Sivabala, the chairman of the Women's Health Committee, is a dynamic male counterpart of ours. So, Dr. Siva, do you have anything to say to this before we end the show?
I think thank you so much, Dr. Juliet, and each and every one of the panelists for taking time off, your invaluable time. Happy Women's Day, and I put it there in the chat box. Thank you to each and every one of you, Dr. Jamie, all the way from overseas, logging in to spend time with us. Um, no less important is Prof. Sharifa, Prof. Sue,
Suchen.
and our participants. They have always been so great. I mean, we have been blessed actually. I mean, it just goes to show that in the medical fraternity, women's health has got a special place because when you look at webinars, the participants slowly will trickle away. Okay, I've logged in, I've got my CPD point, done, dusted, and they go. But here we have, from the time we signed in, more than 100 participants, and all the way through, they are there listening in, engaging with us. So thank a big shout out to all our participants as well. So hope to see you all in the near future. Stay safe and carry on the great work that all of y'all are doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Siva. So, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the end of this forum. Now, let us just remember each of these stories that we just heard as not just a testament to resilience, but it becomes a call of action for us as we step into our routine jobs on Monday, some of you tomorrow. So, thank you for being a part of this important conversation, Prof. Suchen, Prof. Sharifa, and Prof. Jamie. Thank you very much for your invaluable time. Ladies and gentlemen, let's keep pushing boundaries, breaking barriers. And from what we've heard today, it is about paving the way for a brighter, and healthier work environment, healthier us, a more resilient, assertive us.
And
Thank you,
happy.
everyone, and good night from the Malaysian Medical Association.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you
so
and good
much,
night, everybody. Yeah.
Thank you.
Prof. Sharifah, you can go back makan lagi.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for this.
Hey, thank you so much, Juliet and everybody.
You're most welcome.
I couldn't find where is the leave button.
It's
Yeah,
right.
okay,
at the
I
bottom on
see.
the right.
At the bottom.
Thank you. Bye.
Apology for the late
Okay.
joining this.
We'll manage better the next time. Sorry for that.
No worries. Okay,
Okay.
bye.
Bye.